Guys, it's the Obsessed Compulsive Gamer, and I'm sitting here with my cat, about to start Silent Hill 2 on hard mode. Hello. Oh. What's up?
Go check the front door and see if I have a package, please.
Alright, 1 second.
Alright, thank you.
Bye. Hold on 1 second. I gotta be right back. I gotta get my mom's package. Sorry about that. My mother just got a notification she had a package at the door, so I had to get it. And in this neighborhood, if you leave a package out there for too long, somebody's gonna fucking steal it, so just bad timing. It was as soon as I started my stream. Oh, hold on, let me see what you said. I'll answer. Okay, so you can do combat challenge and puzzle challenge separately. That's something that they introduced in Silent Hill 2 and 3. But I'm playing hard for both. There's no limited saves, but the enemies are much more powerful. You have more limited resources, and the puzzles are exponentially harder. And I'm going to try to do them without any help, unless I get really stumped for hours. I started up yesterday, but then I missed a collectible I couldn't go back and get. I'm trying to get 100% and do a full run, and so I had to restart. because I was past the point where I could go back and get it. Pissed me off. And I wasn't that far in anyway. Alright. 2:42, which is exactly 28 minutes from now. I'm quitting my rituals. Don't ask me questions, I just am. And hopefully somebody else should join the stream. Hold on, let me see what you're saying. But yeah, 2:42. No, you can save. I'm sorry. I was trying to say, there's no limits to save, is what I meant to say. I just missed a collectible, and I saved past the point where I could get it, so I'm trying to do a perfect run on hard. That's the only thing that's left for me to do, basically, which, there's not even any trophies. It's just mainly my thing to say I completely mastered the game. Like I said, I really enjoy the game. And like I said, the game's already selling well. It's already the fastest selling Silent Hill game. I hope it'll beat Silent Hill 1, because right now Silent Hill 1 is still the best selling game at 3 million copies. Yeah, that remake is actually much harder. Like I told you, on the remake, you have to do it on impossible mode. That's permadeath.
Mary. Could you really be in this town?
That's the reason I didn't get... Oh yeah, no, it is. Yeah. That's the only reason why I don't have the platinum for Dead Space Remake, man. Because you have to beat it in impossible mode, and that is literally permadeath on the hardest difficulty. And that was not in the original game. I want to do that, but just the thought of getting far and then having to restart just pisses me off. I hate any kind of permadeath, and if you're gonna do permadeath, it should be optional. You shouldn't have trophies tied to it. I fucking hate that.
Town. Silent Hill. You promised you'd take me there again someday, but you never did. Well, I'm alone there now, in our special place, waiting for you.
But yeah, 1 million copies sold in 3 days is really good.
Got a letter.
Maybe, like I said, it makes it the fastest selling game in the series thus far.
On the envelope said Mary.
And if it sells over 3 million, it'll be the best selling game in the series.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Impossible
exactly.
true. That's what I keep telling myself.
Especially, okay, so for example, Darksiders 2 has a permadeath mode. It's completely optional. You don't have to play it even for the plat. That's how it should be. It should be an optional toggle.
Died of that damn disease 3 years ago.
Permadeath is fine for people who want an extra challenge. I don't think it's fine to make it required for the plat or 100% in the game.
Our special place.
Especially,
What did she mean?
especially
This whole town was our special place.
a game that's fucking long. Like, permadeath is kind of manageable on something like Dead Space, where if you know what you're doing, it's not that long. But on a game like Witcher 3 that has permadeath, and that's required for the trophies, or Darksiders 2, where that game is like 30 hours long, no fucking way. I am not putting in 60, 70, 80 hours into a game and then losing it all because permadeath. That's why, like I said, I will never get the platinum for Witcher 3, even though I put like 500 hours into it. I refuse to fucking do a permadeath mode in a game that long.
Waiting for me.
Like, if I invested many, many hours and then died, I'm not kidding when I say I would break something. You can save, but it deletes your saves if you die. So you can save. You don't have to do it in one setting. But if you die for any point, all of your saves are deleted. So, to me, that makes it even worse. Because you spend fucking days. Yeah. Technically, I think you can do that, but it's still, I still just wouldn't want to do that, man. That, to me, is not fun. Like, I'm all for getting a platinum when the game is fun. When it's fair. Like this, you know? I'm also trying to get the whole map unfogged and all the exits and paths. I was like, hey, you can shut his door. Oh, you can't open it, though. Once it's closed. I'm just antsy about this game selling well. Because, like I said, dude, the entire fate of the Silent Hill franchise rests on this game. You know what I mean? If this doesn't do well enough that for Konami, then the series is dead again after fucking 12 years of not getting it. You know what I'm saying? I want new games on a regular basis. And at Silent Hill's peak, they were doing a game every 2 years. 99, Silent Hill 1. 2001, Silent Hill 2. 2003, Silent Hill 3. 2005, Silent Hill 4. So like clockwork every 2 years. And since they have multiple teams, they were all polished. I would really like to get back to the game where we would get Silent Hill games on a regular basis. And, you know, all that rests on this. Yeah, that is fucked up. That's another reason why you're not going to see me getting the platinum for Diablo 3. Oh, hey, how's it going, Orbital Sigma? It's good to see you. It's been a while. And I understand life fucks us all. Let me see all what you're saying, though. No, I totally get it. Jesus Christ. 60 hours just to go level 47. And then 100% completion in 6 characters? Yeah, okay, asking somebody to put 500, 600 hours in for the fucking platinum and have a permadeath? That's not right. Like, I'm all for putting in the time, if it's fair.
It's like someone's groping around my skull.
That's why, like, allow me to go on a little bit of a tangent here, real quick. I'm very particular about the types of platinums that I go for, because I don't want them to be so easy that they're no effort, because to me, it mitigates the point of getting a platinum. You know, a platinum is supposed to be like a marker of distinction, a sticker, basically, and if you just get it handed to you, it's not an accomplishment. But I don't want it to be, on the other end, so fucking hard that it's excruciating, or something that I have no fun doing, or something that requires you to play against the way the game is designed, because I told you, several games will have platinums that ask you to basically play the game in a way it wasn't meant to be played. So you're playing it against the way it's designed, so it's just not fun. It's tedious. And shit like that, like asking you to not use ranged weapons in a game that's about ranged weapons. I hate shit like that. Silent Hill, yeah. So, I pick my platinums very carefully because I want them to take effort, but not a ridiculous amount of effort. I don't want them to be tedious, and I want them to be manageable. You know what I mean? I don't want them handed to me, but I don't want it to be fucking climbing Mount Everest either. And like I said, for me personally, I think the perfect platinum is 100%ing the game. Getting everything there is to get, seeing everything there is to see. You're not asking the player to do something they normally wouldn't do. You're not asking them to replay it 15 fucking times, over and over again. You're not doing it in permadeath. You're not asking for online trophies. You're just asking them to fully see the game. You did it. You fully explored everything we put. Good job. I kind of get that. I used to not care about trophies, but that's kind of changed as time has went on. I've become more into the trophies. It fucks with the OCD part of my brain. I have a thing about making lists and taking them off. Yeah, well, it's just like I told you. It's just a lot of games, I think the harder difficulties suck.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. I was just...
Hey, it's okay. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm kind of lost.
Lost?
Yeah, I'm looking for Silent Hill. Is this the right way?
Yeah. It's hard to see with this fog, but there's only the one road. You can't miss it.
Thanks.
But... I think you should stay away. This town, there's something wrong with it. And it's not just the fog, either.
Is it dangerous?
Maybe. It's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah.
I'll be careful.
I'm not lying.
No, I believe you. It's just...
Yeah, that's exact. Yeah.
I guess I don't really care if it's dangerous or not. I'm going either way.
But why?
I'm looking for...
Actually, this month there's a lot of good stuff going on soon. I'm excited. I'm playing the next gen version of Darksiders 2 that came out a few days ago. And then I got a few demos to play. Metaphor, Refantasio, however you say it, and Wise 10 both have demos that let you play the first few hours of the game. I'm going to play the demo and see if I like them, and then if I do, I'll work on getting them next month, because October was kind of brutal for me financially because there's so many games I wanted this month. Same with September. So November doesn't have anything that I want. A big game, like a brand new game coming out. I'm not interested in Call of Duty, which comes out at the very end of October and into November. I'm not interested in Dragon Age Veilguard that comes out on Halloween. And as far as I know, there's nothing major that I would want in November. So it being a slower month, it gives me more time to save up money, because like this month and last month I had all these games that I wanted to get, so I had to save up almost exactly what I needed, because I save up a little bit each day, and there wasn't a whole lot of room to fuck around. So if my mom didn't want me to go to the store, well then I'm fucked out of the game and I gotta figure out a way to get around it. You know what I mean? There not being any big games next month gives me time to catch up on the games that I missed this month, and gives me freedom because I don't have any like set games I gotta be meeting. So if I miss a day here and there, I won't have to fret. I won't be like, oh shit, my plans are ruined now. Because like before, in October, money was so tight, I had just enough to get what I wanted to get, that if I missed any other a day, it'd be like, fuck, my plans are ruined. Like, I had a plan to the day, and I hate being that close to the wire, where if one thing goes wrong, oh, you're fucked. So, just being able to have breathing room and being able to know, well, if my mom doesn't see me in a couple days, then I'll be fine, is good. So, the big things for me, which I should be fine to get, is on October 31st, so Halloween, which is my favorite day of the year, they're doing Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, and that remaster looks like a fucking awesome remaster. That's $10, and I'm gonna get that because I actually like Zero Dawn, and they've actually put a lot of work in this remaster, and for $10, I think it's pretty fair. And then they're doing a DLC for Blasphemous 2 on the 31st that I'm really looking forward to because I really love Blasphemous and Blasphemous 2. And it's kind of cool because Blasphemous 1 had a bunch of free updates that added new areas, added new places, and they're doing both of those things. Okay, so on the 31st, they're releasing a big-ass DLC for Blasphemous called Mea Culpa, because your sword wasn't in the second game. You had like 3 new weapons. You get your sword back. So that's pretty cool. I'm assuming it's going to have a new moveset now. And then they're also adding a free update that's going to add new stuff to the map for everybody else. Oh, yeah, shit. Yeah, I agree with you there. I hate unmissable trophies. I'll get back to what you guys are saying in 1 second. Just let me finish the train of thought. So, with Blasphemous 2, they're doing both. They're doing a big-ass expansion, and they're adding a free update that adds new areas to the game for everybody. So even if you don't pay for the DLC, you're still getting new content. But I really love Blasphemous, and I love Blasphemous 2, and I love the developers. So I want to support the developers and get the DLC. Plus, it's pretty big. They're saying that if you take the areas from the DLC... They're saying if you take the areas from the DLC and the areas from the new update that they're releasing on the same day, that it's 50% the size of the base game. So it's almost like half of another Blasphemous right there. It's actually pretty substantial. Because Blasphemous 2 was not a small game. For Metroidvania, it's pretty fucking big. So, adding nearly half the map and new content, that's a lot. So I'm excited for that. And then, Zero Dawn, I will say, it is very slow to get started. It definitely takes a lot of time to get going, and I can see where you would pop off of it, and you would get bored. Yeah, Max is now obsessed with you. But, if you persevere through Zero Dawn, it eventually picks up a lot of steam, and it gets really fucking great. Once you get to the desert area, it becomes a lot better. The story picks up, the story threads, and the story goes in a different direction than I thought it would, and it gets really good. It is a game, however, that admittedly you do have to invest a lot of time into for it to get going. So it's not for everybody. Some people just expect the game, but I think if you persevere and you put enough time into Zero Dawn, it rewards you. The story goes to some really fucking cool places, and it really makes you want more, and Forbidden West takes that and fucking runs with it. And even if you didn't like Zero Dawn, I would recommend that you try Forbidden West, because Forbidden West is such a massive leap over Zero Dawn, it's not even funny. It is like the jump from Uncharted 1 to 2, which I think is massive, or God of War 1 to 2. It feels like with Zero Dawn, they were figuring out the formula, because this is Guerrilla Games. They had made linear first-person shooters because they did Killzone. They had never made a third-person open-world game, so it feels like a lot of Zero Dawn was them figuring out how to make it work. And then with Forbidden West, they took it and ran with it. It feels like Zero Dawn walked so Forbidden West could run. Like, Forbidden West is 10 times better than Zero Dawn, and just builds on everything that made Zero Dawn good and gets rid of the bad stuff, and Forbidden West fucking rocks. And you can really tell they found it. Yeah.
Someone
That's true.
very important to me.
Me too.
Breath of the Wild is great.
I'm looking for my my mother. It's been so long since I've seen her. I thought my father and brother were here, but I can't find them either.
You know, and it's kind of like where you can feel the potential there in the first game, and this is why this is where games used to do better. And one area I will say that modern games piss me off a little bit, because I'm not going to sit here and say I think all modern games suck or all that. We've been over that. I think modern games are good. There's problems, but there's problems in every era of games. They used to give games room to have sequels. So if a game didn't do very well financially, or if it wasn't good critically, they would usually give the developer another chance and say, okay, you didn't get it right this time, go back and do the sequel. And because of that, we got a lot of games that the first game is okay, and the second game is fucking amazing. Sony in particular. For me, Uncharted 1. Okay, I mean, I like Uncharted 1. I don't think Uncharted 1 is, a fucking masterpiece, but I liked Uncharted 1. Uncharted 2, fucking awesome. Infamous 1. Okay, has potential, but really rough around the edges. Infamous 2, one of my favorite fucking sandbox games. Fucking masterpiece. Killzone 1, pretty good. Killzone 2, fucking awesome. They didn't really remove the sexual imagery. I don't know what you're talking about. It's here. The sexual imagery is still there. There's still the fucking phallus shit in the pumping vagina hallways, just so you know. They did not remove any of that. People have been spreading a lot of bad press about this game that's frankly not true, so somebody may have told you that to being an asshole, but like the sexual shit you were talking about is in this game. You totally see walls, and it looks like pumping pistons, like a penis, and the abstract daddy still looks fucked up like he's fucking someone. So this game has the sexual imagery. They didn't really get rid of that. At all. So you'll be happy to know that. Like, people have been saying stuff that's not true, like saying Angela's model's fat. Does she fucking look fat to you?
I'm sorry, it's not your problem.
No, I hope you find them.
Yeah, you too.
They've even added more scenes with Maria being more of a temptress. She's actually more provocative in the remake. They have a whole scene where she fucking grabs a light pole or stripper pole and swings around it. She didn't do that in the original game, and she pours James a drink, sits there down with a bunch of vodka and is telling him to drink. So, like, if anything, I would say they made this game more provocative in the remake.
Did you want anything else?
No, it's just this fog.
Oh,
Does
I don't
it
know.
seem unsettling to you?
I guess.
I think this game is fantastic.
You'll get there in no time. Good luck finding the one you're looking for.
Yeah, I should probably get going.
Like, seriously, like, I have very, very few complaints with this. This game actually exceeded my expectations. I fucking love this remake. I honestly really do. And there are parts where they greatly expanded it, and the parts where they expanded it are fucking awesome. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can say that you don't like Angela's model, it's subjective, but there are people saying they made her obese. That is objectively wrong. She's super skinny. So, like, people that are saying that she's fat are literally are saying something that's not true. That's what bothers me. Obviously saying, oh, I like the original models better is subjective. But objectively, she's not fat. I mean, James I wouldn't say is fat, and Angela's much skinnier than James. So, that's where I get upset. But, you know, they add so many fucking cool sequences to this game. In particular, they add a portion in the second half that's probably one of my favorite parts in any Silent Hill game. In the original Silent Hill 2, you return to the city streets later on in the game, and they don't really change much. It's just kind of dark. And I mean, it was fine for the time. But in this game, when you go back to the city streets at night, it's the otherworld version of Silent Hill. The town streets. And it's fucking awesome. They have, in all of the games, they have never done the city streets in the otherworld. You know, when you go into the otherworld, it was always in a building. Okay? So I don't know what took them so long to do the otherworld city streets, but when you get there, it is fucking fantastic. And it takes, in the original game, what was just a tiny little detour, and, it's the same area, just the lighting it's darker now, and turns it into, here's the town district that you came through, and now it's totally warped and twisted and fucked up. And the atmosphere is amazing. And it was not something I was expecting to be in this game, and it's fantastic. And there's a bunch of side stuff to do now in the town when you return to it, instead of before where it was just basically a time waster before you went to the historical society. And shit like that. Or the boss fights. The boss fights were the weakest part of Silent Hill 1. Or 2, I'm sorry. Pretty much the whole series. And people have made memes showing how easily you could break the AI. You know, like, I'm sure you've seen the meme where it's like Eddie trying to come up to James and you just bonking him, getting up, bonking him. They totally overhauled the boss battles. They're actually fucking awesome now. When they previously were like the weakest part of the game. Like, they all have great gameplay now, and they usually have like 3 stages. So, the first stage will start off like the original battle. And then the fight will escalate in new stages, kind of like a Souls-like game. Like when you fight Eddie, in the original game, it was a teeny tiny room and the meat lockers. Now, it's a much bigger room, it's pitch black, so you can't see Eddie, and he will sneak up on you. His AI is good. So it's basically like, playing tag. And then, after you do enough damage to Eddie, the area will turn foggy, making it even harder to see. And then finally, in the third and final stage, the cows on the meat hooks start moving around. So you're literally sitting there having to dodge between the meat hooks to avoid his shots. And it took what was a shitty fight in the original game and turned into a nail-biting experience. Because Eddie's sitting there taunting you, and you're trying to find him before he finds you and shoots you in the face. The fight with Pyramid Head has been overhauled, so it's awesome. And the fight with the Abstract Daddy is fucking amazing. Best fight in any Silent Hill game, okay? Because you're going through a looped hallway, and during the entire fight, you almost never stop moving, and you're chasing Angela while the Abstract Daddy is chasing her, and the layout of the level keeps changing. So you're like fucking running down a hallway, moving through doors. As the environment starts getting more and more warped, then he'll break through walls to come after you. You'll have to fight him off and then start running down the hallway. So it's almost like a boss fight where you're constantly running for your life and then peering back behind to shoot him. And you're seeing the area transform around you as you play. And it took a fight in the original game, which is just him in one tiny room just slowly walking at you, and turns it into a fucking awesome fight. So... you know, and the final fight's really fucking great. Like, they just consistently fucking nail it. And take fights that just kind of suck. Like, even people who love Silent Hill 2 would say the boss fights are kind of Especially even like Resident Evil. Resident Evil games back on PS1 had much better boss fights. It's kind of Silent Hill's Achilles heel. The boss fights are fucking dope now. Yeah. Yeah. See, a lot of people, like Max, wants them to remake Silent Hill 1, and I'm totally down for them to remake Silent Hill 1, but I kind of really want them to remake Silent Hill 3 instead. And the reason for that is really simple. One, I am an enormous fan of Silent Hill 3. It's my favorite game in the series by far. I know everybody usually likes Silent Hill 2, but Silent Hill 3 for me has always been the one I love the most. By far. So, of course, I'm biased. And number two, they actually have a lot of the work already done for them with this game. If you remember, Silent Hill 3 literally uses the same district of the town that this game does. So, they wouldn't have to create a new district for the town. If they were to remake the first game, they'd have to remake the whole town. With Silent Hill 3 remake, the town's already made for this game. In Silent Hill 3, the town is almost identical to the town in 2, so all of the town work is nearly done. They would just have to add the new places that are in 3. So, in Silent Hill 3, had very similar gameplay to Silent Hill 2, because they were like building on the foundations. So all that's already done for them. So a lot of the stuff that they've done in this game would work in Silent Hill 3. So they would have to do a lot less effort than, say, doing a Silent Hill 1 remake where they'd have to remake the entire town from scratch. All the town would already be done. Of course, that's not said to say they wouldn't have to put in a lot of effort, because like 75% of the Silent Hill 3 is not in the town. It's in the shopping mall and new places. They have to make those places. They'd have to cast the actors. They have to do the cutscenes. So it's not like they wouldn't have work. But I'm saying it would be a lot less work to remake Silent Hill 3 than to remake Silent Hill 1, and quicker. So that, combined with the fact that it's my favorite Silent Hill game, makes me hope that they do that. Also, they might be hinting at it already because, one, there is a bunch of references to Silent Hill 3 in this game that were not in the original game. You can actually go to the hotel room where Heather and Douglas stay, and 3 jacks in and go into their room, and later on, you can peel back the wall and it's the fucking seal of Metatron. That was not in the original game. You couldn't even go to the inn in the original game. And then a couple other stuff like that. Like you can have Robbie the Rabbit's head from Silent Hill 3 as a head on you, as a costume. Kind of seems like they're already hinting and leaving suggestions that they're going to be doing that. So they've already also said, Bluebird's already said, that they see this game as the start of a partnership. They intend to do more games with Konami. So even they're doing something. And then on top of that, I think they're going to be doing a DLC for Maria, because Born from a Wish is not in this, but they strongly suggest that they're going to do it in a DLC, but they're going to expand it because, obviously, as you know, the Born from a Wish was just a short scenario that was thrown in there as sorry you guys had to wait for a year on Xbox. So it wasn't very long. It was like you could beat it in under an hour. So I think they're planning on expanding into a full DLC and making an expansion for this. And I'd be fucking down for that because I like Maria, I like Silent Hill, and if they're going to do it, they should turn into a full DLC. And if they sold it and it was an hour long, people would be really disappointed. Especially because this game is like 16 hours long for a first run through. So I think they're already working on that. And you can find the Baldwin Mansion in this game, and it wasn't even in the original SH2. And Maria will even say, man, this place seems so familiar. So it seems like they're trying to hint and lay groundwork for doing a DLC for this. And this would be the first major DLC for a Silent Hill game. So I'm down for that. But, you know, I'm hoping this is the start of a new wave of Silent Hill games. Because I love Silent Hill. And the series has been dormant for 12 years before this came out, so I want there to be, you know, more games in the series. I don't want it to go dormant. And a lot of that rests on this game. Yeah. And I also think, I think it's probably a really satisfying time to be Bluebird right now. Because so many people thought this game was going to be shit. And I didn't. I'm actually, you can ask Max, I'm one of the few people who actually thought this game was going to rule. And had faith in it. Most people thought it was going to be shit. They thought, oh, Bloober sucks. But Bloopers never made a game with combat. And I'm like, yeah, that's why you should give them a chance. They've never tried it before. It's not like they made a bunch of them and they were bad. You know what I mean? So, I had faith in this, and it exceeded my expectations. And I was one of the people who thought this was going to be good from the get-go. So, a lot of people thought this was going to be shit, and they're kind of having to eat their words. Oh, yeah, no, it's fucking fantastic. It is without a doubt worth the wait. This game fucking rules. I mean, yeah, it might suck they removed some stuff here and there, the tentacles and shit, but on the whole, I would say they got a lot more right than they got wrong. And I greatly enjoy this game. This remake exceeded the hype. And there's so many places where they just took my breath away. Just down to little things. Like, you know, in the original game, the hospital, Brookhaven, it was completely dark. And most of the hospital is dark now, but when you first go to Brookhaven in the remake, it's during sunset. So you have this beautiful sunlight coming in through all the windows, and it creates this fantastic contrast because you'll be in the dark hallways, and you'll come out and see the sunlight spilling through the windows, and it adds a lot of color to the area. And just shit like that takes the art direction a step above. Like this, right here, this florist office. You could see this office in the original game. You could not enter. So, like, they made the town basically twice the size in this remake, but they made it twice the size by making it denser. There's like twice as many buildings you can enter in this game than in the original, but it still winds up being appropriate because
What is this?
the areas that you see were in the original game. You just couldn't enter them, if that makes sense. So, you know, and I really love the town exploration in Silent Hill, so for me, I thought it was fantastic.
More of that stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is a fucking gorgeous game. Even the fog. Like, the fog is actually volumetric. Most games, even to this day, use static fog. Like a sprite-based fog. Okay, for particle effects, like 2D sprites. Because volumetric stuff like this is really heavy to use. So, the fact that this game has so much fog and it's all actually volumetrically rendered, like it can pass through things, hit things, is a bitch to render. So it's really impressive that they rendered that much fog. It hits stuff, and you know, when normally in most games it would just be a 2D object, you know, like a cardboard floating through the air. The lighting was fantastic. This is some of the best lighting I've ever seen. You can't really see it now, but there are parts of the game where you can really see the lighting, like the sunlight coming through, or the neon sign of a diner, where the lighting in this game fucking shines. I love the lighting. And it's kind of funny because this game uses Unreal Engine 5, and Unreal Engine 5 has really good lighting. It's called Lumen. It's some of the best lighting in the industry, but hardly anyone has used it. Even Fortnite, by Epic, the guys who made Unreal, didn't use it. So this is like the first game I've seen that really takes advantage of Unreal 5's lighting. And it's funny that it would be somebody that wasn't Epic. Because, you know, even if you like Fortnite, the lighting, I don't think anybody's going to say the lighting in Fortnite is really that good. They clearly focus on the wide open areas and shit like that. So, this game is the first game to really use Lumen to show off insanely great lighting. And the music, oh my god, the music is so great. They got the original composer to come back and redo all the tracks in a higher definition and then add a bunch of new ones that weren't in the game originally, like for the new endings. So the soundtrack in this game fucking rules. And I can't explain it, but it uses the haptic feedback on PS5 really well. You can feel the hits on the weapon, you can feel the raindrops when it's raining later on, and shit like that. Like, they did a fantastic job with this remake. I literally, I went all out and I spent $80 and got the deluxe version. So I could play it 2 days early, and I don't regret that at all. And there's a couple of glitches, but nothing major. Like, just tiny glitches. So it's actually really polished at launch as well. So it's a graphically beautiful game. It's got a ton of content. It maintains the spirit of the original game, and it's polished. There's only a few bugs, and nothing like major. And like I said, I'm fine with a couple bugs. Like, no game launch is ever going to be perfect. Like, one time I got stuck on a railing and had to reload a checkpoint, but nothing. That's it. You know, haven't had any like crashes. Knock on wood, haven't had anything like that. So it's gorgeous. It's polished. It does the original game justice. They added good parts to it. They didn't. They kept all the stuff that people loved. Yeah. They fixed the parts of the game that could have been better. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying a lot of games have been releasing unfinished. This game is not that. This game is already super polished. Other than a few tiny bugs, I haven't had any issue with this game. And I've gotten all 8 endings, played through the New Game Plus, and now I'm playing through it on the hardest difficulty for puzzles and stuff. So, like, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, they've done a fantastic job with this remake. They really, really have. They've added new variants to the monsters, because one of the things I think Silent Hill 2 really sucked at was it didn't have a lot of creature variety. So now they've made new variants, like the mannequins. Later on in the game, you get variants of them that can crawl up the walls and jump attack you. They've added the straitjacket fuckers. They're now ones that are red and they'll explode when you kill them, so you have to back away when you kill them, and stuff like that. Like, they've added much more monster variety in this game. And when they did that, they worked with the original creature designer, so it all is authentic. They added new types of nurses, like there are different variants of nurses that have different attacks. So, like, they really listened to fan feedback. Game boss fight sucked. Fixed it. Game didn't have enough variety. Added more creatures. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Cryosphere, wasn't that the fan game made on the Source Engine, if I'm not mistaken?
Stay back.
Yeah, I've heard about it. Yeah, and they did a fantastic job of making the combat in this game better, but not making it a fighting game.
That's what I saw in the fog. Whatever it is, it's not human.
Because if you make the fighting, yeah. I've never played it, but I've definitely seen stuff about it. It's definitely been on my list. I don't have a PC, it's still on PC only. That's why I haven't played it. I'm still a console peasant. But I've definitely heard about it. I've heard it being listed on the best mods for Half-Life and stuff like that. I've definitely wanted to play it. I love horror. Yeah, exactly. And I think they actually did a lot better job of making James more likable in this game. I honestly didn't really like James in the first game. I thought he came off as too douchey in the original and kind of unlikable compared to the rest of the cast. they do a much better job of making him more likable in the remake, I feel. And I didn't really like him in the original, and I like him a lot more in the remake. I think he's a good character. Like, I get what they're trying, I just think, like, with the voice acting, he just came off as too much of a dick. I think they did a much better job of making him like an everyman and being more likable. And another thing I really like, you can pretty much break all the windows for cars, and they will hide items in the cars. That's a touch that I really like. Like, you can also find ammo in the cop cars. Stuff like that, where, like, windows that you can break open, storefronts, like, stuff that would just be non-interactable in the original game. Just little stuff like that. Like, see, these two, the dry cleaners and Andy's bookstore, these were in the original game, you couldn't enter them. So stuff like that, like, they expand the world without stretching it out. So when, you know, people were worried when they said the map is going to be twice the size, that it was going to be stretched out, but it's not, it's denser. The map is the same size, there's just more to do, and all these places you couldn't enter in the original game, you can now. So, to me, that's the proper way to expand the map. And I like it a lot. Yeah. Yeah, especially if you spend a lot of money. This game is actually pretty long. It's about 16 hours. If you take your time in the first playthrough. And then there's playing through it on hard difficulty. There's playing through it on New Game Plus to get the new endings, because you can only get the first 3 endings in the first playthrough. In order to get the rest, you have to play New Game Plus. There's extra unlockable weapons. There's lots and lots and lots of bonus stuff. So, like I said, if you put your time in this, you're gonna get well over 20 hours, which is great for a horror game. Yes, and they made it even cooler. All of the endings that were there are still here. There's all 6, and they've added 2 new endings that were brand new to this remake that they worked with the original creator to add. So, there's now 8 endings total. They also added stuff that helps you choose a lot better what ending you get. Because in the original game, it could be kind of cryptic what you needed to get for each ending. So they deliberately put stuff in here to help you decide the ending better. Like, they'll give you a scarlet egg and a pale egg, or rotted egg. And which one you put in the door will give you points towards a Maria ending or in water ending. So they make it much easier to choose your ending. Because it was kind of cryptic how you would choose it before. So people get endings they didn't want, and now, you know, just small stuff like that is littered throughout. Like, so much love and attention was poured into this game. And before you would have to choose a melee weapon or a gun, now you have both. If you pull the left trigger, you pull out your gun, and if you hit the right trigger without the left trigger, exactly, I'll get to that in 1 second. So before, you had to choose between a gun or a melee weapon. Now, you do both if you pull the left trigger, you pull out your gun. If you just press the right trigger, you use your melee weapon. So now you can actually switch between guns and melee weapons really quickly. So you can do something like pop an enemy in the knee and then whack them with the pipe. And stuff like that, which I dig. And then all three weapons, because in the base game there's only three. There's the handgun, the shotgun, and the rifle are on the D-pad. So you can switch between them all at once. Makes the combat a lot better. And yes, I actually agree with you. I liked a lot of the Silent Hill games that people don't like. I liked Silent Hill Origins a lot. I know a lot of people don't like Origins. I loved it. I thought for a handheld game it was fucking gorgeous. What it did visually on the PSP was amazing. I love Downpour. Most people hate Downpour because it launched in a rough state. Konami pushed it out the door before it was ready. They subsequently patched those issues. Most people didn't go back to give it a chance, so if you play Downpour now, it is 1,000 times different than if you played it at launch. And I love Shattered Memories. Yes, I wasn't too thrilled with the can't fight, have to run mechanic, but the atmosphere in Shattered Memories was fucking on point. The psychology stuff in the therapy sessions was fucking on point, and the twist ending was absolutely fucking phenomenal. It is truly a game you have to replay after seeing the ending. The only Silent Hill that I don't like... Oh, I'm sorry. I like 4 as well. You mentioned 4. I thought 4 was good. It was supposed to be a spin-off. It was never meant to be. It was supposed to be called Room 227, and they decided to call it Silent Hill because it had a connection anyway, and they were afraid it wouldn't sell. So if you go into it expecting it to not be like the others, then it's great. Yes. God. As I was going to say. I like Silent Hill 4. I like Origins. I like Shattered Memories. I like Downpour. The only Silent Hill game that I hate is Homecoming. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the least of the problems. With Homecoming... They went too far into the combat to the point where they made it an action game. Where it's just not even a horror game anymore. They got basic details of the town wrong, because you revisit the district from Silent Hill 1, but the general layout is not the same and fucked up. The creature design is shit. They bring back Pyramid Head for no fucking reason. The story is it's not scary. It had a bunch of glitches. It was made by people that clearly had no fucking idea what Silent Hill was about. Homecoming is the only Silent Hill game I think outright sucks. And then Book of Memories, I just don't care for. I don't care one way or the other. Like, I mean, I don't come to Silent Hill to play a fucking 2D dungeon crawler. But I don't hate it. And from what I've seen, it's a decent dungeon crawler, so... Homecoming is the only one I'm like, this is terrible. But another thing I really like, you can have a blood splatter effect be on the screen, called the low health vignette. I don't like that, but you can also tell how high your health is. 1, by his jacket. The lower his health is, the more blood he gets. And B, you can tell from the lights on the controller. The color matches his health. I fucking love that. And, well, he limps now. You didn't limp and shit in the original game. So with the blood on his clothes, with the light on the controller, I just don't see the need to have the vignette on the screen. Yes! I'm really stoked for, we already got one of the new games. I don't really care for it. It's, Townfall. It's like that Netflix game you play on Netflix, you choose branches paths. I'm not interested in that. But F, I'm really looking forward to, because it's set in the 60s in Japan, and supposed to show the origins of a cult, and I fucking dig that. We don't get a lot of horror games that are period pieces. I know some people are upset because it's not in Silent Hill, but to me, I'm okay with that. As long as it has the staples of the series that we love, I'm fine. And honestly, in all fairness, I kind of get why they're trying to do other places, because there's only so much you can do Silent Hill in this one particular aesthetic. It is limiting. One second, I'm gonna let my cat in. Also, have you played Silent Hill: The Short Message? Well, it's just so you know, I think, don't you have a PS5? I'm pretty sure you had a PS5, right? Okay, well, just so you know, it's free. The short message is free for everybody forever. So next time you get the PS5, just you can play it. It's free, and it's not that long. It's only about 2 hours long. Shit, I died. Yeah, I waited too long to go without healing. Not a big deal. Ah, shit. Oh well. I am bueno. Okay. Cause it's not very long. It's only about 2 hours. And there's no combat in it. It's all about the story and the world. But it actually sets up how Silent Hill can be in other places.
Is this what I saw in the fog? Whatever it is, it's not human.
If you, they explain, it's called the Silent Hill phenomenon. There's like an article you can read about it. And basically, the town will come to people who are mentally unwell and need help. So, yeah, I can kind of see that. So they basically set it up for Silent Hill to appear anywhere. And have the fog and all that shit, so... And honestly, like I said, I don't really care. If they keep it scary, keep the fog, keep the psychological horror, I don't care if the game's not technically set in Silent Hill. I'll be fine with it, as long as they keep the feeling of the game alive. They don't literally have to be set in Silent Hill. I know some people, for them, that's a deal breaker, but for me, I'm fine. Like, if they release Silent Hill F, and it's good, it keeps the gameplay of the series intact, the vibe, the fog, the psychological horror, but it's just in Japan, I'll be totally cool with that. And like I said, it's very limiting, because there's only so much they can do with this time period, this aesthetic. So I kind of see where they're trying to broaden it up. And open it up, because, you know, like Resident Evil, that's kind of why they destroyed Raccoon City. The developers were tired of making games in Raccoon City. Oh, also, it's really cool. You know Siren, Forbidden Siren? Or Siren, it depends on where you're located, but Siren. It was originally, on PS2, and then they released it for PS4, but the PS4 version was kind of shitty. It had a bunch of bugs and glitches. And it didn't have a platinum trophy, so it had trophies, but it didn't have a platinum trophy. They recently, just the other day, released a brand new version of Siren that's for PS4 and PS5 that's on their new emulator. It fixed the glitches that the original PS4 version had, and adds in a full trophy list with a platinum. So, I am probably going to be playing Siren, either after this or along with this. I only played a little bit of Blood Curse, so I can't attest to that. But for me personally, I like going for trophies, but only if there's a platinum. You know what I mean? I love getting the platinum. I love having that sticker that says you mastered this game. And so for me, if a game has trophies but it doesn't have a platinum, there's no fucking point for me. So it really pissed me off when they first added Siren and it had trophies but no platinum. And yeah, Siren is cool. It unfortunately is definitely a game that basically requires you to use a guide though. Like no shit, the creator literally designed it to be a game that people would collaborate on online forums. So, if you play it without a guide, you're not going to have a good time. You're literally going to be wandering around, what the fuck am I supposed to do, what the fuck am I supposed to do, missing stuff, having to go back and replay levels. So I always tell people, if you're going to play Siren, just use a guide from the beginning. Because there's shit they've designed to literally be obscure and obtuse. And having to replay the same level over and over again because you missed one tiny thing is not fun. So I tell people, if you're gonna play Siren, use a fucking guide. Literally designed that way. I also really want to play Siren 2, but it's hard to play it because it never came to America, and the only way to play it is to either mod your system or have a PAL PS2. Oh, are you talking about Blood Curse or Siren 1? Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. That one is only available on PS3. Has yet to be re-released. That does suck. And then for Siren 2, you either have to have a PAL PS4, because they brought it to the PS Store for PS4, but it was only in the PAL regions, or you have to have a modded PS2. And that sucks, because I've heard from a lot of people that Siren 2 is much better than the first game. It is all around the best Siren game. And I've never been able to play it. It's on my to-do list. Hopefully they'll bring it. Now they brought the first Siren back, they'll bring the second one, because it's PS2 emulation. It's easy. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm a filthy console peasant, so I don't have that choice. But a YouTuber that I really like covered it. Nitro Rad. Just trying to check every car, everything I can. Because I'm playing on the hardest difficulty. Ammo is really scarce. So you want to look everywhere. Yeah. Not to mention the fact that the game is insanely fucking expensive. It's one of the rarest fucking PS2 games ever made. Trying to get a legit copy of it will set you back fucking $300, $400. God, I hate fucking video game scalpers. Scalpers have almost single-handedly killed fucking game collecting. Used to be that anybody could collect games. Only the very, very, very rarest games were $100, $200. For most games, older games were super cheap. So, you could easily get into them. Like, all you needed to get into gaming was time and patience, you know? And it was almost like collecting older games would be your haven. Because newer games would be expensive, but older games would be cheap. It's like, do you want to spend $60 for a new game, one new game, or do you want to spend $60 and get 10 old games? And shit like that. Like, so I would always go for the older games, I would get a ton. And like, anybody could do it. You didn't have to have a huge amount of money to collect old games. And now, just about to get any fucking GameCube game, you have to sell your kidney on the black market. Like, individual copies. Okay, to give you an example of how bad it is. Okay? Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald are the most common Game Boy games, advanced games. They are the most common Game Boy games. Okay? Between the three of them, there's 50 million copies sold. Okay? So, there's 50 million carts. They're literally the most common Game Boy game. Because they're the best selling. They're one that Nintendo printed the most copies of. Okay? Just to get a copy of Emerald right now, a legit copy of Emerald, without the fucking box, would cost you $200. $200 to $300. That is fucking insane. A game that has 50 million copies lying around, that's the most common fucking game on the system, should not cost $200 to $300 fucking dollars with no box. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that's fucking awesome. I know a lot of people who are DBC fans that really love that game. You know, I'm not like a huge on Dragon Ball because my friend was like so into it and he talked about it every day for years. It made me fucking hate Dragon Ball. Like he lives his life by Goku's teachings. It's fucking insane. But I know a lot of people in my Discord who are fans of Dragon Ball and they were loving Sparking Zero. So. And yeah, and I heard it sold very well. It sold, I think they said it sold 3 million copies in one day. So those sales are fucking fantastic for that kind of game. So it did like really well. Like it's already probably made a huge profit. So hopefully, since it did so well, we'll get more games in the future. And like I said, I've heard nothing but good stuff about it. I've heard a lot of people love it. Yeah. I also really like how they rebalanced healing. In the original game, you could pause and heal at any time, and it wouldn't, do in the battle, so it wouldn't matter. In this game, you now can heal instantly without pausing the game. You tap the triangle button to use the supplements, the minor heal, and you hold the button to use the syringe, which is a full heal. But now, in order to compensate for that, you actually, when you use the syringe, you have to slow down for a second and put it in, and you actually can't run or anything when you use it. So you actually have to be very careful in battle when you're using it. Like, they did a really great job adjusting stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You can't just heal and pause at any time. You have to make sure you have enough space. So it creates really tense moments where it's like, do I have time to heal, or is Pyramid Head gonna fucking grab me? And I love shit like that. I really do. Or see, like this place here, Green's Pharmacy, and the Salt Street Apartments right here. They added these. These are new to the game. And I'm using a guide just to make sure I get all the collectibles. Because it's really easy to miss them. I'm trying to get 100%. I already have. I'm just trying to get it in my hard game as well. That way I can say I did everything there was to do. Like I said, I enjoyed this game a lot. I've played multiple times already. Okay, I think I'm on track to get what I need. Alright, man. I'll see you later. I hope you have a good one. What you wanted, yeah, what I wanted. And a police to put the pop on, but dee dum do, slut 'em, beat 'em do, slut a pop on, but they don't let you down. All of the way. I think it was what time for shit too.
spent the whole day there. Just the two of us staring at the water. Hello? Is anyone there? These clothes.
I'm gonna end this right here. I'll be back.